Since assuming office in September 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso has been remarkably proactive. He has spearheaded efforts to reclaim territory, launched anti-corruption initiatives, and committed to decisive actions against terrorism. Additionally, he has engaged in diplomatic relations with Russia, cut ties with France, and skillfully navigated the transition to civilian rule. However, despite these endeavors, there remain factions opposed to Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership in Burkina Faso. In today's video, we'll provide an update on the latest assassination attempt targeting Traoré. We'll delve into previous attacks on his life and explore the underlying reasons behind these recurring incidents. Before we proceed, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the African Web channel to stay updated on the latest developments in Africa. After reports of gunshots near the presidential residence surfaced, hundreds of demonstrators convened in the capital of Burkina Faso on Friday to express solidarity with the country's military leadership. Gathering at a central roundabout in Ouagadougou, the protesters pledged their support for President Ibrahim Traoré's government. They asserted that earlier in the day, gunfire was heard in proximity to the presidential compound. Although uncertain about the situation, they mobilized to prevent any untoward incidents. According to Burkina Faso's news agency AIB, an individual attempted to attack a guard at the palace, fortunately without causing any injuries or damage. Nonetheless, security forces promptly secured the area surrounding the palace. Since the ousting of the elected president, Marc Christian Kabore, by mutinous soldiers in 2022, the landlocked West African nation has been under military rule. On September 30, 2022, military leader Traoré resumed power. He established a 21-month parliamentary assembly within the transitional government, scheduled to conclude on July 1. The next phase of transitioning to civilian rule will involve nationwide surveys on May 25th and 26th. Since 2015, Burkina Faso's forces have grappled with jihadist insurgencies, resulting in casualties and displacing around 2 million people. These challenges have been cited by military leaders to justify their coups. This isn't the first time Traoré's regime has faced threats. In January, there was a reported assassination attempt on Traoré, which ended dramatically when it was foiled. It was alleged that Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba masterminded this unsuccessful attempt. Damiba, born in January 1981, is a military officer from Burkina Faso who briefly served as interim president from January 31, 2022 to September 30, 2022, until he was ousted in a coup led by Ibrahim Traoré. The plot to detonate an explosion in the presidential home was fortunately stopped in time. Following the recent attempt on his life, Burkina Faso has experienced periods of political instability. This was underscored in September by the arrest of 4 military commanders accused of plotting a coup. Authorities announced some arrests on television, mentioning ongoing efforts to apprehend other suspects without specifying details. Many speculate whether those plotting coups and opposing Traoré are discontent with his leadership. Questions arise about their intentions and whether they have constructive proposals for the nation or are motivated solely by retribution. It is suggested that these individuals clarify their positions and advocate for their objectives. The failed assassination attempt on Traoré underscores the significant challenges he faces, both internally and externally. Those plotting against Traoré likely have supporters aiding them in their efforts. However, Traoré continues to gain more allies with each passing day, making it increasingly difficult for his adversaries to harm him. It's important to note that Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger entered into a mutual defense pact in September 2023, demonstrating their commitment to supporting each other against potential threats, whether from armed rebellions or external aggression. Thus, those seeking to target Traoré must reckon with the collective defense of these 3 countries. Additionally, any attempt to remove Traoré would also involve dealing with the presidents of Niger and Mali, as well as navigating international relations, including with figures like Vladimir Putin. There's speculation that Western interests may be at play in the turmoil, possibly seeking to install a leader they can influence. Burkina Faso's wealth in natural resources, including gold, zinc, copper, manganese, phosphate, and limestone, is significant. Although there are reserves of diamond, bauxite, nickel, and vanadium, these remain largely untapped. Because Traoré is championing the rights of his people and the advancement of Burkina Faso, there are those who oppose him. However, the strong support Traore receives from the people indicates that his removal is unlikely anytime soon. Burkina Faso's citizens have faith in Traore and appreciate his efforts to improve their lives. He has remained committed to his pledge of transforming the nation and enhancing the well-being of its inhabitants. Traore has initiated various development projects and continues to oversee existing ones that were initiated prior to his leadership. These endeavors include upgrading infrastructure such as roads, constructing the Ouagadougou airport, launching multiple entrepreneurship programs, and more. Some argue that the opposition arises from Traore's stance on elections. Initially promising fair elections upon assuming office, Traore later stated that elections were not a current priority for the country. This raises the question: are those opposing Traore advocating for elections or for the safety and stability of the nation? The past decade has witnessed a surge in coups across Africa, with the continent experiencing the highest number of attempted or successful coups globally. Out of 492 coups since 1950, Africa has seen 220, with 109 being successful. In recent years, military leaders have seized power in several African countries, including Gabon, Niger, Burkina Faso, Sudan, Guinea, Chad, and Mali. Nearly all African nations have faced at least one coup attempt since 1950. The recurring coup attempts in Africa stem from the continent's persistent divisions and historical conflicts. Discord has long plagued Africa, hindering efforts for unity and tranquility. To overcome these challenges and foster a more cohesive continent, Africans must prioritize cooperation. Initiatives such as reconciliation programs, cultural exchanges, and dialogue can facilitate this process. Many African nations have suffered from autocratic rule and widespread corruption, leading to a tolerance of such governance. However, by demanding transparency, engaging in politics, and holding leaders accountable, Africans can advocate for democracy and good governance. Ibrahim Traoré's actions in Burkina Faso serve as a notable example for other leaders in the region. It's crucial to recognize that African attitudes toward coups are evolving. Increased access to information and a growing appreciation for democratic principles have led to shifting expectations for governance. There is a rising demand for inclusive and peaceful political processes, as well as greater accountability and transparency. Despite this progress, some Africans still believe that coups can bring about positive change. However, it's important to acknowledge the complexities surrounding such takeovers and their long-term implications. While we can't definitively label the recent gunfire in Ouagadougou as a coup attempt, it aligns with a pattern of destabilization aimed at the Traore government. What do you think? What are the primary motivations behind the repeated attempts on Captain Ibrahim Traoré's life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the African Web channel. Turn on notifications to stay updated on our latest uploads.